All right. We back.
Adventures.
We
Adventure
back.
time.
We got it. We got it straightened out.
So we had 20 minutes of conversation
That was going in and out.
and no one heard.
No one.
It was great conversation.
No
too.
one heard all of it.
Right.
No
I
one
don't
heard
think
all of it.
anyone heard any of it.
Yeah.
But, so first and foremost, welcome. Welcome to conversing and relating. So the first time I did it so wonderful. Take this.
Yeah.
Welcome to conversing and relating. I'm April Autumn.
I'm Coach Hughes.
And it is a pleasure to have you here with us. We're so thankful that you are joining us again. If you were here earlier and you decided to come back, thank you for your dedication. We really appreciate it because today we have some really interesting conversations to talk about.
And we're going to keep the mics going so we can talk about it. So.
Yeah, so people can hear.
Yeah.
So So the first thing we're going to do is talk about today's sponsor.
Today's sponsor is Viles Hot Sauce. I'm just going to say Viles. V-I-L-L. You think it's Vils?
I mean, but you know what?
Okay.
I could be wrong. And if I am, she's going to get me.
Yeah. Don't get us. We're sorry. Vils Hot Sauce. Viles. V-I-L-L-E-S. It could look Villas. It could say that. No, it doesn't say that. She's Jamaican. She wouldn't be saying Villas. Villas Hot Sauce.
She's really going to get you.
Kill me. Viles Hot Sauce definitely is our sponsor today. That thing you see at the front of the table is actually so good, you may want to slap somebody next to you. We don't recommend that you do it, but it is that good that you may want to slap somebody next to you. And for the entire year, okay, up until March 9th of next year,
I know,
you can get your discount if you just go to vileshotsauce.com and type in Hughes and Kisses. Okay. Hues and Kisses. There's a reason for that. We'll probably tell you that later on. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
But go to that link. You get 25% off of your order and get a taste of that good black-owned hot sauce, man. Thank you for sponsoring us today.
Thank you so much.
Sorry for butchering the name. I promise I will not do it wrong the next time. He's pointing at me. Okay. Viles Hot Sauce.
So, yes. So how was your week?
It was good up until 25 minutes ago. Up until 25 minutes ago, it was good. And, well, it was good all the way. I'm not going to say it wasn't good. It was good. I got a chance to do some things with you. We worked out today.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Got our ass handed to us working out. But it was worth it. And we loved it. And we had a good time. So, but overall, it was good. I got into some TikTok beefs about some things, which is kind of what led us to this topic today, which is how do we get here? The divisiveness in the Black community, while dating. How did we get here? All right. Why is it so divisive right now within the Black community as it refers to dating? And so I didn't ask that question, right? I asked a different question.
You did. You did. Because we got into some conversations about, red pill. Is it 4B? I messed it up. I'm sorry. At first I was like, curl pattern?
No.
What are we talking about?
First time.
Sorry. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm not a TikToker. I'm not. I need to stop saying that. I'm not a TikTok influencer.
Or content creator.
I'm not.
But I am.
He is.
And the first time, it's called 4B, right?
Okay.
But the first time she was like, you talking about the Plan B movement?
No, I didn't. I said hair pattern. Like
hair
pattern.
Curl. Okay.
I was like, why are
the
you
curl pattern movement?
That is not your curl
pattern.
pattern.
Because 4B is like the Yaki Black number 9.
You know what? Get out.
Okay.
Anyway, continue.
No, so I got into some TikTok debates about this movement and red pill and passport bros and everything else. And so, I just tried to do my thing, hold it down and stand on what I stand on and ask simple questions. Definitely didn't get triggered. A lot of people got triggered and butt hurt. But that's what comes along with the territory, when you try to ask questions and you care about your peoples. So
Right.
yeah.
So this today is going to require some stretching, as we say, some stretching and growing, and really being patient and not just answering to react,
Right.
listening to actually hear,
Right.
and then communicating to understand and help someone else truly understand the point of view. I think a lot of people right now are talking at each other and not to each other, right?
Yeah.
And that is one of the things I believe we have jumped in already. I think one of the things that causes the divisiveness. No?
Listening to react instead of listening to understand.
True.
Yeah.
Did I say it?
No, you said that.
Okay.
I had to think about it because I was like, how far up the list is that? And it's really far up the list. Talking to each other instead of at each other, listening to react instead of listening to understand is, those two things are interchangeable,
Mhm.
but they're in the top 5 of how we got here.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, there's some learned behavior. There's some, things that we didn't know or we thought we knew, and some things that we knew but didn't know how to implement, and I guess it all refers to the stuff you talk about, which is called legacy.
Legacy.
Yeah.
Legacy. Yeah, we don't really talk about the legacies that we are handed down. And sometimes because we only think about legacy as being monetary or property or things of that nature, which by the way is great legacy. However, the legacies that we're talking about are not great legacies, right?
Not great legacies. It's legacy is not just tangible stuff. It's stuff that somebody left that's abstract and that still has influence to this day, right? So I like looking up definitions. Let me just go ahead and look this definition up.
Do you belong to Webster?
I don't. I used to read the dictionary when I was a kid.
believe that.
Yeah.
I definitely believe that.
Yeah, I used to read it. Okay, so legacy says the amount of money or property left to someone in a will.
So that's the first legacy that we're talking about, which is a great legacy. Like you level up.
Yeah,
if you
in
get
some
that,
cases.
you get ahead.
Yeah,
unless you spend all the money, and the legacy is not to manage that money. Which
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, or the second definition, both nouns.
Mm-hmm.
The long-lasting impact of a particular event or actions, right, that took place in the past or of a person's personal life.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what we're talking about. That's the legacy that we're talking about. For example, and I'm going to raise my hand. In my family, I have a legacy of single parenthood, right? And that impacted me. And I was a single mother as well for a while, and was married and divorced. And so there's another legacy of divorce in my family. Wow, there's another one. And so I have a mother who is actually very aware, hey, mommy, and very engaging and would talk to me about that. But it was after I was 20 plus. So she didn't really talk about it before. The first thing that she instilled in me was get your money, get your education, but not really what a relationship looked like. So when I wanted to have a relationship, I was fumbling and bumbling.
Yeah, I think I could say the same. My legacy is different. Both of my parents were together until they died. But they did still stress, education, even to the boys. It wasn't something that they just teach, that my parents decided just to teach the girls. And that's something that, we have to talk about, where sometimes it's not always what they're teaching, but what you take in and how you take it in and what you do with the information. Because we had a good example. Right. We had a good legacy. Now, uncles and aunties, a little bit different on both sides. A little bit different. But as far as our immediate family, my siblings and our mother and father, we had a good example, so they left us a good legacy.
However,
However,
comma.
yeah, yeah, yeah. When that however hits, it's like erasing everything you just said. Yeah, all of us have been divorced.
Hmm.
Yeah, at least once.
Hmm.
You know, and that's not the legacy that we have. And then meet right, yeah. Let me raise my hand. Yeah,
Okay.
that's not the legacy that we have, or that we had onto, or that we latched onto. So
Right.
that's a good example of having a legacy, knowing what to do, knowing what you're looking at, but not knowing how to implement it in your life immediately.
So, question: when you partnered the first time, because we're not obviously talking about our partnership, but when you partnered, did you partner with someone who actually understood the legacy of marriage and what that means?
No, no,
Why did you have to
No.
do that?
no, no. I was trying to. There's no way to soften that blow, but no, because they didn't have a good example of
Right.
what marriage looked like. But they still wanted to do it, and so they thought they can change that example,
Mm.
and they didn't understand that learned behavior and traits came along with that legacy.
Right.
Because of what you can have the example, like I had the example, but I still had other things that I implemented the wrong way, which
Right.
led to a divorce. So, you can have the legacy and not do anything with it. You can have the legacy, not know how to implement it, or you cannot have it at all,
Right.
as far as it relates to dating, So
I mean, I think it relates to a lot of different things as well.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, not just dating.
right. So we're specifically talking about dating in the Black community and the expectations and navigating those expectations. And in my practice, and when I'm speaking with clients, I'm typically the first thing that I'm asking people is, do you know yourself? And do you know who you are before you can ask anyone to be anything to you?
What's the answer you normally get?
They think they do, or kind of a little bit.
Mm.
What do you get when you ask that question in life coaching?
In life coaching is it's very honest. Like they'll say, I thought I knew,
Mm,
but obviously I'm here, so I don't know.
some self-aware people.
Yeah, some self-aware men within it, but they're in a safe space. Like these guys are not going to say this out loud, which is why they're having some of the issues that they're having. But
Mhm.
Overall, yeah, they don't know.
Right.
You know.
And so I think on both sides, like we are socialized to believe things between 0 to 18. We get all of this socialization and then we get shipped out into the world to go act it all out. Right.
Yeah.
And some of that stuff is misinformation. Some of that stuff is great stuff, but we don't know how to implement it, as you said, or we just choose to do something different. And so on this path, trying to find how we can join together, sometimes we don't take the time and space to first know ourselves.
Yeah, what I've found out with therapy is you got to know yourself, right? You got to know and get to love yourself. And a lot of us are walking around here and we don't like ourselves at all, right? We've saw this during the pandemic with the uptick in violence against women, uptick in violence against men, uptick in violence against kids, because they had to confine themselves to these four walls. And then they realized, I really don't, or they had to re-realize because they already knew, right? I really don't like this wife of mine. I realize why I like to stay late at work. And then when I come home, sit in the driveway for 15 minutes before I go inside.
Or get a drink.
Or get a drink.
Smoke.
Right.
Or whatever.
And then she realizes, oh, I really don't like this husband. This is the reason why I want to hit him over the head with a frying pan and just either leave the kids or take the kids, or, it's something, and if you look at the stats during that time, they're very telling, very telling. And so it's from that time, because we had red pill, We had some women voicing their opinion on the opposite side of the fence, but 2020 really set us down and was like, all right, what the hell? You know, do you like this man? And it's like, no, I don't like this person. Why am I with this person? What the hell am I doing?
Mhm.
Divorce rates were up. Again, those, violence, DV, and kids and children were going through a lot during that time too.
Right.
So with that said, it's like, it's how do we get here? Because it seems like we're still divided, especially in the Black community.
Very
Yeah,
divided.
right. We're very divided. We're very divided. And
Yeah.
if the goal is relationships, then how do we get to relationships, which is what we're talking about today. We want our viewers, we have one viewer, we had a bunch of viewers, but
Yay.
we have one viewer. We want y'all to say what y'all think is the issue of why we are divided so much in today. And what can we do if relationships, healthy relationships that lead to healthy marriages are the end goal? How do we get there, right? Because we got to understand how we got to where we are right now.
You
Right.
ready?
Are we ready?
I don't know. You ready?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready.
Well, I will say, going back to the consequences, right? There are consequences to some of that legacy and not rebuilding, finding yourself, finding or making your own legacy. There's something to be said about recreating and doing your own thing if what is out there is not working for you, right? So with single parenthood, there are definite consequences to single parenthood.
Yeah.
So, and I've watched this time and time again in my practice with women when they have children who are male or female. The male child becomes the head of the household.
Yeah. The
Right?
new boyfriend, the new man in charge, right?
Which is not fair to that child because their childhood is now taken away from them.
Yeah.
And then the female child becomes the girlfriend and the workhorse.
And the friend. Yeah. If ladies, if y'all ever wonder why some Black men are like very pro, I got to get mom this, I got to take mom that, I'm the man in the household. That's why they were told that by that same mother, who eventually, instead of finding a suitable soulmate, decided to put her son in charge and make him be the head of. I mean, not saying that you don't want to get your mom this and do stuff for your mom, but it's a psychological thing. Like it's a small insertion on top of the big insertion of, hey, I need you to step up as the man of the house and this and that, which again is not his responsibility as a kid.
At 12.
At 12.
I need for you to get a job and take care of this mortgage.
Right.
No,
Right.
not
And that's
at
why they
all.
start hustling and selling drugs and going a different route, because they see mom going through what she's going through and they feel like they are so compelled to help. Right.
Or they're told to help.
Or they're told to help. In most cases, they're told. Yeah.
Right.
But what I find really interesting is when the women who are single mothers have the young daughters and they automatically make them the friend. What is that about?
I mean, I think, honestly.
Yeah. Our viewers, our
people
two
not
viewers
gonna
right
like
here,
me.
they want
Hey.
honesty, right?
They're not going to like me right now.
You want honesty. Let's give them honesty.
No accountability.
Ooh, you say the A word.
I did.
We about to get kicked off of.
People like, I'm done. Bye.
Yeah. We just lost our viewers right there.
They gone for real?
No. they're
Oh,
still
okay.
here.
Whew.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, but really, it's accountability on both parts. And if I can have you co-sign on everything that I do,
Yeah.
good, bad, or indifferent,
Yeah.
right? And I bring you along as my girlfriend, not my child, not the person that I'm supposed to be raising, I don't get any pushback.
Yeah. Because the child, the young lady who's the child, she wants her mother to be a mother. She wants to connect to her mother. And she has seen the repercussions and the attitude shift and the change and everything else as a young lady with her mother, right? And then everything in her environment, basically. And then the mother comes in and she goes, well, I want you to be inadvertently, she starts treating the young lady like a friend instead of a daughter. Now, only time she treats her like a daughter is when the daughter get out of line or something like that, or when she feels challenged.
No, let me be clear.
Yeah.
No, let me be clear. I'm not saying that you can't be friendly to your children. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
We're responsible for youth and young adults to help them become, to help them grow, to help them stretch, to help them understand what is coming when they are launched on their own journey.
Yeah.
So we can be friendly, but at the end of the day, we're parents that have to put down some boundaries. Children want boundaries, whether they know it or not.
Yeah.
They need boundaries, whether they know it or not. And so having this free for all, like, oh yeah, you can do whatever you want to. Oh, it's fine. You can stay out. Da, 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 da. That doesn't create a real expectation, even though when they are gone from you, yes, they can do all of that. But what parameters do they know? How do they know how to really operate in the world? So I think it becomes, it's either so strict or nothing at all, where it's really something in the middle.
Yeah, that balance is something that's tough for, a young Black mother to do, because she's still trying to balance her emotions from her environment changing, and then she has kids, so now the stress levels went up and stuff like that, whether she put herself in that predicament or not. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about in general. She has this stress pattern of my environment change. My man's gone. We're not together. She's thinking about income. She's thinking about kids. She's thinking about all this other. She's thinking about keeping her pride. She's thinking about saving face to the public, always wanting to seem like she has it. And, she's strong. She got to take care of. She took it on the chin. It's nothing. I'm going to get up. I'm going to buy a Bentley next week. I'm good.
It's the Black woman's anthem. I'm fine. I'm good. But I ain't got nothing to worry about. What you mean?
I think that's
wonderful.
I think that's both anthems. I think that's because the Black woman outwardly says, I'm fine. I'm good. Outwardly. The Black man just doesn't say nothing at all.
There you go.
Yeah.
They don't say anything.
Yeah, they don't say nothing at all. And, that doesn't help with dealing with what you need to deal with. If, again, it circles back to what's your end goal.
Right.
If the end goal in the Black community, as it relates to dating, is to uptick in marriage, uptick in healthy relationships, you have to deal with the stuff you have to deal with on your own from the past in order to move on and be able to allow somebody to deal with you and vice versa in the future. Because when you get in these certain relationships, you don't have the mental capacity that you thought you did, right?
No.
You don't have that mental capacity that you thought you did because you didn't do the work to fix the things that were wrong with you, but yet and still you hop into another relationship just to ease the pain of being single, just to ease the pain of being alone, just to ease the pain of not having somebody around that you can show your kids like, hey, look, mom and dad, because it happens on both sides.
Right.
Where men will jump into a relationship and say, look, dad got somebody. I'm okay. I'm good. Women too, But if you don't fix what you need to fix for yourself and with yourself, you jumping in to another relationship with somebody who's either equally as messed up or on the other opposite end of the spectrum, ready for a relationship, you're still doing a disservice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to your original question of how we got here to this space, right? And so we talked about the consequences. And so along with that consequence, so you have a single mother, you have a dad who is coming to see his children and trying to take care, seeing the interactions, the stress, whatever. Right. Or there are some situations, not all, some, where the man isn't doing that at all for whatever reason.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Then we have another generation that comes, they see this. Remember, we talked about modeling.
Right.
They're seeing this behavior. They're growing up in this, and now they don't know.
Right.
how to have relationships. And so the legacy then continues.
Yeah.
Continues.
Sounds like
on and
a
on.
bad boy album. The legacy continues.
Oh,
I
goodness.
had to bring that up because Diddy is in the news
Oh,
everywhere.
wow.
You know, they replaced No Homo with No Diddy. His new name is the Diddler.
I cannot with you today. I cannot.
Oh,
The
look,
Diddler.
when men think they doing something in the bedroom, they gonna start saying, "Take that, take that."
See, that's why I didn't even try. I was going to try to take a drink. It would have been all. Never mind.
I'm sorry.
Yes. So,
black man to black man, I don't want them problems. But I wouldn't have put myself in that situation. But anyway, it's one of those things where we have to understand that both sides of the coin, both black man and black woman, most likely may have came from that kind of broken situation, right? Where they didn't know what to do, right?
Or in a situation like you, where you have both parents, but they didn't really sit you down and say, "Hey, son, let me talk to you about relationships and what you should look for, what you shouldn't look for, what's good, what's not so good, what's all of those kinds of things." The conversations, it's really uncomfortable having conversations.
It is, especially with your kids. Like, I remember my mom, I didn't have the birds and the bees conversation. No, not even with my dad.
Really?
Yeah, mom, she was a doctor, specialized in family practice. And I think she was working at some clinic. She's always working at a clinic. And she just came home with a bag of condoms and was like, "Don't bring me no babies."
Wow.
And I was like, the only thing I could think of was like, "Nah, I don't have to buy condoms because those things are expensive, and I can only go if I have condoms. So thanks, mom, thanks, mom, for having the conversation. Thanks, mom, for saving me money on condoms." Like this.
Wow. I don't have to buy condoms.
Yeah, that's like somebody, coming home to their daughter and giving them a bunch of Plan Bs and be like, "Don't bring me no babies." And you're like,
wow.
"Thanks for giving me a bunch of contraceptives and Plan Bs." I don't know. I would have liked to have a conversation, but since parents, I don't think our parents had that conversation.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
My mom gave me a book.
She gave you a book.
Mm-hmm.
Did it have pictures in it?
Yes, it did. Well, not like, it was more about like knowing your body, right? And your body parts and things that happen to you. And when you're ready as a woman, things you should think about. Now, there were no pictures there.
Oh, okay.
No. But it was like thanks, mom. Things you should think about.
What book is this? Downgraded.
You're gonna have to talk to mom.
Downgraded Playboy book? Just
no.
Playboy education.
No. No.
Penthouse education.
No, sir. She's gonna get you. I'm just gonna let you know. She's gonna get you.
You gotta catch me first. I'm just playing.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
But she gave me a book and we didn't talk anymore about it.
What was the atmosphere and the time period like when she slid you that book? Was it like, "Here, you need to read this," or was it like my mom? I was in the kitchen, right, and I was fixing some food, and she came in and she was like, "Bag of condoms," and I'm like, "What's this?" And she goes, "Don't bring me no babies," and I'm like, "Oh, these condoms? Okay, yeah, no, I got you. Thank you for saving me money on buying condoms, Mom. I appreciate it." So what was the dynamic in that aspect when she slid you this good old pre-pornographic book?
Well,
because they had pictures in it.
It wasn't like a man and a woman or anything like that. You're making me think like porn music and the boom.
I'm here to fix your dryer.
Okay, stop.
Okay.
Anyway, I had started my period. And I was fairly young when I started my period. And I remember she bought me, it wasn't just this book. It was 3 books. I love
She
you, Mom.
bought you 3 books.
Hold on, wait.
Okay.
No, it was 3 things. I'm sorry.
3 things. Okay.
So the first thing, and I had this thing for a very, very long time. It was like a woolly lamb that you wind up and it would play music. I was 8 when I started my period.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was the first thing.
All right.
The second thing was a Bible that I still have over there. I still have that Bible. And the third thing was this book about
2 books and a stuffed toy.
that sounds like a bad movie.
That sounds like a bad porno movie. 2 books and a stuffed toy.
No. Don't say stuff. Just like toy. 2 books and a toy.
2 books and a toy.
See?
Or 2 books and stuffed.
Anyway, and so she knew I liked to read. And I think it was easier because she was very upset that I got my cycle so early.
I mean, you can't control that.
I cannot. But that means something.
Yeah.
It means a lot of things. And
Yeah.
so for her, she was like, oh, okay.
Anybody else in the comments or who's watching this, especially on YouTube, type, when did you get your cycle? When did you get it? I mean, because guys, I want to know. My daughter got hers at a not a later year, but I guess the typical age.
What's the typical age?
There is none, from what I found out.
You. Okay, that's why I asked.
There is no typical age, but she got hers at around 12. 12.
Our other daughter too.
Yeah,
around the same. Yeah. So that was surrounding that. And there were some other things that happened, but that was the main thing. And she was like, it was almost like my child is no longer a child.
Young lady.
Yeah, she's a young lady now. And so I need to prepare her for that. So along with that, thinking about that in the Black community, and I feel like we're going off, but I feel like this is important.
No, it's all tied in. What
are the things in our community that help us go from boys to men? I'm sorry, young girls to young ladies. Besides cycle, like for young men, what is it?
I'm gonna take a stab at it. Men, if you're watching this, let me know. Because some would say the first time you have sex for guys. I would say the first time you actually ejaculate, you have an orgasm, be it, self-pleasure or whatever the case may be.
Pause. That is something that nobody talks about.
Of course, because we're demonized as men about our sexuality.
Oh, and women too. Let's say women masturbate.
Well,
women masturbate.
I think you guys are
women masturbate.
I think you guys are demonized for over sexuality.
Yes.
Yeah, we're demonized just because of the sexuality.
Okay.
I would say that's just me.
Right.
Y'all let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. Okay. But I think all of that ties into knowing yourself before you got out here to do what you wanted to do as far as relationships goes, right? Because it goes back to just the you're going out, you're dating, your first date, you're trying to piece things together. You don't know if you're going to have sex or not. If you've had sex, you wonder if you're going to have sex again. You don't know how to, for guys, you don't know how to put the condom on right, or you do know, because, when I was growing up, they had a little bit of sex ed. There was no YouTube, but, or you talk to somebody who automatically knew, and that was a hit or miss, but, all of that plays a part in like knowing yourself and getting things wrong. And I think when both sides have gotten everything wrong on both sides, that end up to this prolonged silent war that just became more vocalized now, right?
Agreed.
So we at Obsidian Lux, my wife and I, we want to help the Black community get back together. We want to help bolster healthy relationships. We want to help bolster healthy relationships that lead to healthy marriages. Now, healthy relationships does not mean sunshine, rainbows, and no problems.
Wow.
Let's just get that out there. We need to destroy what you've been taught as a young man and as a young woman, or what you self-taught, because a lot of us, we just talked about through legacy, was not taught or didn't know how to implement what we were taught. So we're here to kind of destroy that and then bring back into, based on today's time, what does a healthy relationship and something that leads to a healthy marriage looks like, especially if that's your end goal, right?
All right.
So let's talk about sort of the divisiveness first, like some key points. And then I want to say, what are the things that we can do to combat the divisiveness?
Right.
So one of the divisiveness that's going around right now, ladies, 4B, Western 4B, right?
Why is that so divisive? Why does that divide us?
Because
not only from men and women, but women from other women, Black women.
Well, I think some Black women just don't subscribe to the wide spectrum of what 4B is, or the movement, the Western 4B movement, because you can't say 4B. You got to say Western 4B so they'll understand which movement you're talking about, because this movement did not originate in America, but American modernized women have adapted the movement, or hijacked it, be the key word, brought it to here. And basically what it's saying is, we're going to take sex off the table. We're not going to be giving our cootie cat to, Tom, Dick, and Harry, or in this case, Leroy, Jaquan, and Deshaun.
No, not Deshaun. So is it about? So I've heard it's broke folks.
And that's the thing, though. It doesn't have a legitimate underlying message across the board. We're not giving our cootie cat to different.
Can we say vagina?
The JJ?
Yeah.
Cookies. Goodies. Sierra. Goodies. That's what we're going to say. I'm going to say that because I like Sierra. She's cool. So we're not going to give our goodies to anybody, any man. We're tired of men. We're not going to give our goodies to men. Then what you said comes into play. They say, we're not going to give our goodies to broke men, because Cardi B says broke boys don't deserve no. I know that's right. So, and then we're not going to give our goodies unless we vet the person that we're trying to give our goodies to a little bit more, so we can be sure that when we give our goodies, if we decide to, we're giving it to the right person, which is the one I like,
That makes sense. I mean, you should be vetting people regardless. I mean, for lots of different things, and why are you having sex? Are you having sex to get into a relationship? Is that what you're bringing to the table? Your vagina? And saying, here's my vagina, that's what I'm offering. Or are you getting into the relationship or into something with someone for more than that? So
yeah. Some people use sex as a leverage, men too. And so what women are saying right now with this 4B is that we're not, using sex at all. You're going to give into our demands. You're going to court us. You're going to take us on dates and stuff like. Okay, there's a question.
What are the demands?
This is all online.
I'm sorry. I don't know. You guys are I'm informed this much.
Put in the comments. We got 2 people in here. We had more, but we have 2 people in here. Type in the comments in the live, what are some of the 4B demands? Okay. What I've come across is that some of the 4B demands is, we want to go on dates. We want to be courted. You can't make less than $50,000 a year, which I don't know if that applies to the women, but it definitely applies to the men. And you got to have, what was the other one? You got to do something with some horses or something. I don't know.
Horses?
Yeah, I made that shit up. Anyway, it's one of those long list of things. Like they had a list of restaurants they wouldn't go to.
Oh yeah, the Chili's and all of that.
You can't take me to Chili's. You can't take
me to. They have a wonderful happy hour.
Yeah, the happy hour is amazing. Shout out Chili's. Thank you. The 2 for $20. Coffee dates. They wouldn't go on coffee dates.
Yeah. I love a coffee date. I'm in control with a coffee date because I could sip and be like, well, time's up. Come on.
Yeah. But they wouldn't go on coffee dates, and they wouldn't go on dates to restaurants that had a chain. So if there was more than one location, they was not going to it. There had to be some exclusive, localized eatery, and you had to spend up to, between $100, $300 or whatever. These are some of the demands. Not saying they're across the board, because again, there's no unified message.
So, okay. So as a woman who counsels, does therapeutic process with lots of women, and hearing some of these things, the question that I always ask, and my clients always say, "She about to ask me that damn question."
Hmm.
Where'd you learn that from?
That's that legacy we were talking about.
Or you know what? I don't think anybody's sat you down and said you need to make a man take you out and spend no less than $200. I don't think anybody says that. I think what has happened is your worth becomes tied to a numerical number,
Exactly.
and there's no number out there that can buy me. I'm not for sale.
Yeah.
And my worth is not tied to what you spend on me for food.
Or what you buy on the first date, mind you. Like, listen, I'm thinking 50 to 80 bucks on the first date. I don't know you. You don't know me. We don't even know if this first date's going to go any further, right? There are women out there who have been self, videoing themselves getting free meals from guys on the first date who they convinced to take to these different lavish restaurants, knowing that they were just trying to get a meal. And they act like they're playing that guy. Like, I'm playing you. You look like a goofy. I got a free meal. Ha ha ha.
And my children got a free meal because I'm
Right.
about to order for him. Can
Right.
I have a T-bone steak for my son?
Right. He ain't got no teeth. You trying to get this nigga T-bone. Like, get the fuck. Anyway, so that's the thing, and that's kind of the rhetoric of the 4B movement. So on TikTok, on my TikTok profile, I'll put it in the comments later, I challenged, anybody from the 4B movement to legitimately tell me what's the underlying goal and what are you trying to accomplish with this movement, right? And because there are a lot of butthurt women out there who were triggered, mm-hmm. and a lot of pandering men who were also triggered, nobody could tell me what the exact underlying goal is and what the underlying message is. And I said I support it if it was something that was, we're vetting men, we're keeping our legs closed a little bit longer than normal, and we're vetting men to make sure that man is worth sexual activity. And I was like, hell yeah, men should come up with something like that called 4D.
You make me sick. So no. So,
but legitimately, on the men's side.
So on the men's side,
right.
What is their movement? Because they also have a movement too. That again, we're talking about divisiveness. So we just talked about the women.
Yeah. So the men's movement is Passport Bros, mm-hmm. and now it's no correction, no protection, mm-hmm. right? So the Passport Bros, they basically had an underlying message. Since we're not wanted in America by American modern women or American women in general, right? We're going to get our passports, go across seas, and find women who want to marry and who want us. That was the underlying message, right? Simple underlying message. Mm-hmm. Get your passport, go to a country where you're wanted, and find a person that you're compatible with to marry. Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, I got questions.
Questions.
Yeah. So with Passport Bros, you have to basically be in a particular class to be able to do some of the things that they're talking about.
Yeah, honestly, you can get your passport and go to Mexico, to be honest. But they were flying to different places like, Brazil, right. and Japan, mm-hmm. and Germany. They love black men in Germany. Oh my
mm-hmm.
God.
Germany was top of the list.
Germany was top of the list. Mm-hmm. But different parts of Africa, because they still wanted black women. Mm-hmm. So they just didn't want American black women. So they went to African countries, because African countries came in second. Like, it was a list of African countries.
Right.
But they were still saying, grab your passport and get, but they were, in order to grab your passport, you got to be on your P's and Q's. In order to fly to Africa, you got to be on your P's and Q's, right?
You got to have money.
You got to have money, right? And not everybody qualified for that, right. And so, but the message again was underlying, and it was the same. Mm-hmm. It was, hey, get your passport, go do this, go do that, and find you somebody who you can marry. Right. And the Passport Bros got clowned for that. Mm. Women were all up on social media talking a whole bunch of just rhetoric about how we're going over there. And I say we because I'm a man, but I didn't go over there. I just stayed in America and found what I need to find. But how they were going over there finding, women who can't talk, women who are not intelligent or educated, desperate women, pick me women. I mean, it was vicious. They were really vicious about what they were saying about these other women in other ethnic groups and other Black women in other, the African countries. And men were like, yeah, they mad because you can't combat that, right? You can't combat, hey, you don't want us here. Okay, cool. We're going across seas.
So was it really we don't want you, or was it the list? Remember, we're talking about what was their list?
I think it was a combination of both, because men looked at some of that list like it was not logical. It didn't make sense. And, a lot of women who were bringing up that list did not meet the qualifications nowhere near,
And then they had a list as well, correct?
Yeah, there was a list that came out for men. But
I know body count was one of them.
Body count was one of them. Body count was a hot topic. It's still a hot topic.
Very much so.
How many times you've been married was one of them. Notice it wasn't how many kids, but how many baby daddies you have. Right. It wasn't how many kids technically. Right. How many baby daddies you have. And I mean, women just, again, they took, offense to that. And,
because if you have two and the requirement is one, you're out. Right. So that's hurtful. And so in that, we are.
We're experiencing something.
The camera was unplugged.
Oh.
The batteries did.
Oh, okay. We'll still continue. Don't worry about it.
So
we'll still continue. It's just a podcast with no video. But anyway. Yeah.
So with that in mind, like if you're hurt because of your requirement and somebody thinks that, your requirement is ridiculous of taking you out, but then the requirement of having more than two baby daddies, quote unquote, is ridiculous as well in her mind, then that's a difficult thing to be faced with. So you have two folks who are having these requirements that are in some ways arbitrary, right? They just, I want this, or, I want that. And not really even getting to know that person, because just by this requirement, so to speak, whatever it is, maybe a good man or a good woman is knocked out of the running.
I think you got the point of basically the whole issue where the divisiveness, try to say that 3 times fast, came from. Men and women not understanding each other. They tried to attack men on different levels. Some men tried to attack women on different levels. And nobody said, okay, wait, are these some real demands that you have? And, if they are, okay, cool. They want, we don't meet the height. Not all of us meets the height. Not all of us meets the requirement to the money that you have, but neither do you. So What are we doing? And then women would say, well, we don't have, big butts and we don't have this and that, but you must hate your mom or something, And so I think both sides were listening to react and not listening to understand. And that's where we want to bring the topic in of listening to understand. So that's one of the ways, right, as we can start, that we can fix this issue where we're listening to understand.
Right. And the other thing is, I am not your adversary. I'm not against you. And really coming from a place of I am seeking to understand, and really do that. Seek to understand the person that you're getting to know, not use them, not, play with them, but really if you're not interested in this person for whatever reason, whether it's sexual, whether it's a real relationship, be forthcoming. Talk about that. Have a real conversation.
This person on our chat said, I heard of a man who had 34 children and 17 baby mamas. Let's dive into that because
he had no remorse.
no remorse at all, and no penis control. So, but here's the thing. There were women that wanted to blame this guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But are we not holding accountability to the 17 baby mamas he had?
Well,
that knew he had, I'll be baby mama number 6.
I can fix him. I can help him.
Really?
Listen, seriously.
Really?
I've heard this song and dance so many times. Hey, Angel. Hey. Yes, the women are at fault as well. And they, I think a lot of times women go into this and not understanding. One of the things that I ask people to put on their list of things that they would like from a potential partner is mental and emotional awareness of who you are. And if that person doesn't know who they are, then you should stop right there and give them the space to get to know who they are.
Yeah, that was one of the things that women were saying. Hey, you're not emotionally available. You don't emotionally understand. Mm-hmm. You're not emotionally this, you're not emotionally that. And men, on the face, surface level, yeah, we're not emotional. That's ladies. So I think what could have happened or what could have been said is, hey, from the ladies' point of view, hey, can I show you how to be emotionally unavailable or emotionally available so you can understand what I'm saying and where I'm coming from emotionally? But it takes a woman who's calm, centered, and operating her feminism and ready to talk and listen and ready to talk and have real dialogue. So in the point of trying to get the man to understand instead of just spouting some stuff that doesn't help the situation,
right? And really understanding and talking about what is emotional availability.
Yeah.
Right. So, hey, I really like you, what I'm hearing. One of the things that I desire is emotional availability. And what that looks like is ABC 1, 2, 3. It sounds like you're aware. You're very aware.
Right.
How can we get to availability?
Right. It looks like we're still having some technical difficulties. So we're going to fix this right quick. Hold on. Don't go nowhere. Hold on.
Are we back?
All right, we're back.
Yay!
Yeah.
I feel like we've all made mistakes. And first of all, let me appreciate you for staying. Thank you so much. We've had some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
We've all made mistakes because, again, like I said earlier, some of the conversations that needed to be had weren't had. Yeah. From a very early age to really understand. So we started at masturbation. Like we in the Black community, we demonize people who masturbate.
For some reason, I don't know why.
But that is self-pleasure. And that is really understanding your body. So understanding that we as a people, well, we're not a monolith, but there are Black people who masturbate, and that is okay. There are people, much like me, who talk about sex all the time. I'm a certified sex therapist. And so that is some of the things, and getting rid of these taboos that we've had in our community about sex.
Yeah, I think knowing yourself is the first thing,
Yeah.
And the second thing is, being aware of what you want to do with when you get the opportunity to have a relationship.
Right.
Right. So this user said, I've just decided that I don't know what I'm doing and that I will just date in my 30s because at this point, I don't know.
Let me just say, you are not alone. You are not alone. This is something that I hear from folks all the time. And Angel said, it's me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you are not alone. It's because you don't know. No one taught you. And that's okay.
Yeah, that's the part I was going to say. That's okay that you don't know. You know, the fact that you don't know is okay, you know, but at the same time, if you really want to do something about it, what are you willing to do to find out? You know, what are you willing to do to find out you? What are you willing to do to change the narrative and the perception that you've been giving, you know, thus far, you know?
So you're saying you're 28 and you're going to take this time to learn how to do this. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because that time for you to grow and stretch into you and what it is that you do like and what it is you don't like and what it is that you do want and what it is you don't want. That's okay. Take that time.
Right.
Give yourself the grace to do so.
Yeah, you gotta learn yourself, you know, and you gotta have a goal. You gotta have an end goal of what you're trying to do, what you want to do, and how you want to come across, and what kind of legacy you want to leave, you want to have, so forth and so forth, right? And since that's the case, you just gotta go for it, right? You just got to have a chance to expand who you are, rethink what you've been told, and go from there. Like, it takes time, you know, and you can't let a lot of people, like you just said in your last comment, Angel, you can't let a lot of people waste your time, and you have to be bold enough and strong enough to where you can, you know, what does I want to say? Be mindful enough to where you can say, hey, this is wasting my time. This is not helping. You know, I need this to be done. I need this to be, you know, out of here. I need to move on because yada, 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 whatever the case may be. Right.
Yeah, it's okay for you to, I think a lot of times people will say, oh, I have to be nice. I have to sit here. I have to keep going through this date. You don't have to be mean about it, but you could say, you know what? It's been really nice meeting you, but I see we're on different paths.
Right.
And so thank you so much for your time. That's why I said I love a coffee date.
Right.
Because you get maybe 15, 30 minutes of my time. And if I'd like to stay longer, then we can stay longer and, you know, order something else. But yeah, that's all the time, you know, that I'm going to give it.
You got to be willing to be flexible. You got to be willing to step outside your comfort zone just to get the results that you want. And, you know, you can't let people waste your time. And you can't, like you said, she said, I blame myself every day because I can't believe I was in that. Yeah, you can't blame yourself because you didn't know.
Right.
You know, that's like blaming yourself for not knowing how to dodge a punch and you've never taken any kind of combat classes.
Right.
Like, that doesn't make sense.
You did not know.
Don't be so hard on yourself. Yeah, give yourself some grace and some credit. Like, you didn't know. That's what it was. But, you know, if you're, what are you doing about it now is what we're saying.
So I think this is probably a great place to wrap this up and say more than anything, if you're listening and if you need some support in finding out who you are, what you want to do with your life to change the trajectory and the legacy of what's been handed to you so far, please don't hesitate to get some help, right? As a certified life coach, Jamon can definitely help folks. And I, as a licensed clinical social worker, this is the work that we do. we help folks navigate this terrain and helping bring people together and first helping you to understand you so you can have the kind of relationship that you would desire and want.
Yeah, you definitely deserve a solid relationship. You definitely deserve happiness. You definitely deserve a chance at happiness, a chance to um, pass down your legacy, a chance to know what love is, a chance to, be in something healthy other than what you've been, what you've been in. And so when you get that chance, you'll know that you've earned it because you've done the work to get there. You've taken time to readjust your thought process. You're taking time to readjust how you approach things. You've taken time to forgiving yourself. You've done all this work that helps you get to the results that you want to get to. And that's what counts. That's what matters. That's what it means to be proactive in having what you want to have. It doesn't come to you easy. There is some work, but eventually it does come. And you have to realize that you only have one life to live. So you got to give it a shot. You don't want to be on your deathbed with shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Okay.
Right. That's amazing. You said that you're in counseling right now through your school. That's great. Just to let you know, I offer a women's support group called Finding Queendom. If you are interested in it, please go to the Obsidian Lux group website and you can find that podcast and sign up for it. And I'll send you the link. We would be glad to have you.
Yeah, so, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's also like getting around more women and truly women who are understanding and having more conversations much like this.
Yeah, these conversations are hard conversations. We're going to have more conversations about different things that will help people out and give them a way forward, so they can feel like they're actually connecting and actually doing something that, helps them get the results they want, which is what we want you to have.
Right.
At Obsidian Lux, especially with Empower Him and Establish Her, we want you to get back to loving you so you can love somebody else and somebody else can love you properly. So definitely shout out to you, Angel, for doing the work and starting the work. But when you want to come to Obsidian Lux and get with April and empower her, definitely let us know. There's links in the website and the bios and stuff like that to where you can come to Obsidian Lux and set up a free consultation. And for men who are hearing this podcast, the same thing goes for you. There's on Obsidian Lux website, there's a link where you can get life coaching, certified life coaching help from yours truly, and you can schedule a free consultation. So don't be scared to schedule that free consultation. And thank you for listening and thank you for tuning in. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We're going to get it better.
Yeah, you guys, thank you so much for sticking through it because, I feel like you knew that we were going to talk about some difficult things. And this is just the beginning.
It's just the beginning. It's always just the beginning. And you know what? That's okay because we're going to do what we need to do. We're going to have these difficult conversations and we're going to try to make a difference because we want Black love, Black excellence to be like the obsidian stone, which is black and perfect, 360 degrees all the way around, which is why we call our company Obsidian Lux as a whole.
Yes.
So you guys have been awesome. You guys have been great.
Shout out to our sponsor today. It's Vils.
Vils.
It's Vils.
Please don't kill me.
Lanika Paley.
Lanika.
Thank you so much for your sponsorship today.
Vils.
Vils. And don't forget, you can go to www.villshotpeppersauce.com.
Yeah.
And if you utilize the Hues and Kisses code, you can get 25% off.
25% off. Let me tell you, that hot sauce is good.
It is so good.
It's flavorful and it does have a kick to it, but it's not that kind of kick that makes you not want to put it on anything to enhance the flavor. That's what that hot sauce does. My new favorite hot sauce, our new favorite hot sauce, and we're not being biased, we actually put her through the ringer on a very particular day. So she's definitely earned that, and we definitely appreciate her sponsorship. Definitely don't forget 25% off using the code Hues and Kisses. That's for a whole year. Get the hot sauce. Support
Yes.
Black businesses.
Yes.
All right.
Awesome.
All right. We're going to get out of here. Thank you guys. We've done our hour. Now it's time to eat
Yes.
and watch some unscripted, scripted TV.
Have a great one. Start your week great.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.